It's all about that four, that big four. And what happens when a big four, what happens when someone in that big four, or more importantly, what happens when the four in the big four steps up in the big game? It leaves other number one options, the other team's number one options, stupefied, because a number one option doesn't think they're going to lose a game because the fourth in the big four steps up and kills you. Yet and still, here we are in the playoffs, and we have a couple of number one options that are stupefied that a number four has beaten them. So we're jumping into the screen. We're going to go first with SGA. This is after game 3. Game 4 was last night. We'll get into that. But this is after game 3. All he had to say in the post game was,
PJ Washington.
What do you think of the looks he's been able to...
PJ Washington. He's looking at the box score. If you're watching along on YouTube, if you're not with the audio audience, I'll describe. It's him in the post game sitting there. We just lost game 3. We're down 2-1. And his college teammate is the one that was getting him up out of there.
PJ Washington.
What do you think
Shaking
of the
his
looks
head with the do-rag. No, it's bad enough that he lost out in the MVP. It's bad enough that, you know, he's the number one seed and they're down 2-1. But it's to PJ Washington is the reason why you're down 2-1. That's why he just has to say it with such a ferocity in this post game.
PJ Washington.
What do you think of the
such a
looks he's
level
been
of
able to get
disgust
when...
almost of like, I can't believe I'm sitting here down 2-1 because of
PJ Washington.
What do you think of the
And
looks...
let's go ahead and slide to the other one. Your man's Ant-Man. He's been very vocal in these post games. He's been very transparent in these post games. He's been very authentic to himself in these post games. But even he can't get over that the fourth in the big four has him down, or in his series, has even his series up at 2. He's walking away, takes one quick at the box score.
Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon.
Again, shaking his head. That's the disgust you get. That's the disgust you get when the fourth in the big four is the one that's taking you out. Ant-Man's sitting here, I just dropped a 44 piece. And now my series is tied at 2 because of who? Like, is it because we can't stop Nikola Jokic? No, it's not really because of that. He's going to get his regardless. Is it because we can't strap Jamal Murray? Well, y'all are doing a pretty good job on Jamal Murray, but he's still getting his. Ultimately, he's making a tough shot because he's one of the better tough shot makers in the league. But no, it's because Aaron Gordon is the one that's putting your team on the brink of potentially tricking off a 2-0 lead when you had home court advantage. So that's the whole thing of what, when I bring up, and I'll come back to myself, come off the screen, when I bring up the whole thing of you need that big four, and even though you have a big four, sometimes you need someone in that big four to step up. This is what we're talking about. Like that game 4 when it comes to Denver and the Timberwolves, that game 4 was an Aaron Gordon game. And if you look, it's very reminiscent in the first round series they had with the Lakers of where Aaron Gordon flashed. I believe that was also a game 3 or a game 4 where he flashed for like a 30 piece and had a whole bunch of boards and was being, you know, dynamic, because that's the guy you're going to leave open. And that's kind of, as we get into the box score, and I'll jump back into the screen, we'll get into the box score. That's what you're looking at when it comes to, you know, if you have that big 4, you're going to dare the lower tier guys, that 3 or that 4, to be the ones that beat you. You're not going to dare Michael Porter Jr. to beat you because you're not going to leave him open because he could shoot. Aaron Gordon's track record has been spotty, especially with his perimeter game. He's more of a low post guy, you know, a guy that can bang down low. So the Timberwolves had a good strategy. Let's leave him open. Let's dare him to beat us. And in the first 2 games, I think he was a little. I won't say, he probably was a little shaky in the light, but he wasn't that dynamic. He wasn't a difference maker of sorts. But these last 2 games, Aaron Gordon has said to hell with it. I don't know whether he's channeling his Orlando days or what have you, but he's turned back the clock and he has jumped in with a major way. And when he could give you 27, 7, and 6, and I believe he hit his first 9, 10 shots from the floor. Like when he's damn near playing perfect basketball, perfect basketball, and that's your fourth option. That's why the Nuggets are the Nuggets. That's why I found it silly when they were down 2-0 that all the experts were out here putting dirt on their grave just because they're down 2-0 and he lost the first two at the crib, as if that's never been done before, as if this Timberwolves team is so much more talented than the Denver Nuggets. But again, when you have to put out content every single day, that's the type of shit you have to do, because you have to keep saying the thing literally every single day to keep people coming back and checking and giving you those clicks. So that's why I try to bring that to y'all here, to tell y'all, yo, don't listen to what these guys are saying. There's ulterior motives here. They're not really trying to give you what they really think. They're giving you what you would think is going to keep captivating you to keep coming back. But anyway, sports media ran over. Aaron Gordon being able to give you 11 of 12 with 2 threes, perfect from three, perfect from the line, and he still gets boards, and he's even dropping off dimes. You can say you want Aaron Gordon to beat you, and you can be happy that Aaron Gordon beats you, but do you think Ant-Man looked good knowing that Anthony Edwards beat him?
It's like Aaron Gordon.
That man is disgusted. That is a man that is disgusted with the fact that Aaron Gordon beat him, okay? So, because look, at Michael Porter Jr. only give you 4 points. He was just doing cardio out there. So the big four turned into a big three. And when you look comparatively to the Timberwolves, look, you had 3 guys in double. We got the starting lineup, 3 of the 5 in the starting lineup went for double figures. And then you even had your man Christian Brown and Justin Holiday getting double figures off the bench. Then you slide down to what the Timberwolves did, and you see Ant-Man with a 44, and then nobody else got more than 15. So again, this is a team that's supposed to have a big four. Karl Anthony Towns, the best shooting big man in the history of the league, 1 for 4 from 3, 5 of 18 overall. And the biggest problem with Cat was he was 1 for 10 in the first half. I believe he missed his first 7 shots of the game. So they went to him to establish him, to get him going, and he just spit the bit. There was nothing he could do. So again, you're talking about a team that's supposed to be a big four. Ant-Man gives you Ant-Man things. Karl Anthony Towns was below average. Rudy Gobert, below average. Even from a blocks perspective, a guy 4-time defensive player of the year, only 1 block. Jaden McDaniels is thought to be a guy that could potentially be the 4th in the big four, or Mike Conley, the steady veteran, is thought to be a guy that could be the 4 in the big four. And nobody else helped Ant-Man. Ant-Man had no help. Absolutely, positively no help. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is a guy that, thought of him with Jaden McDaniels supposed to be strapping up Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray hit one of the more memorable shots of this playoff run. Let's go ahead and jump into that. So, I won't play the audio here because I don't want that smoke, but you see the score here. It's 8 seconds left in the first half. The Nuggets are up 10, right? So the Nuggets are up 10. And who's that? Ant-Man? Ant-Man goes, he gets stripped. Jokic throws it out. So Michael Porter gets the dunk. Okay, it's 1.9 seconds, right? So now the Nuggets are up 61-49, 1.6 left on the clock. They inbound the rock. Murray steals it because it's an overthrow. Murray steals it. Presence of mind. Not even a dribble. Doesn't even take a dribble. Takes the ball. Heaves it. This is about 3/4 court. I thought people were jumping out the window when he said 3/4 court, but this is almost about 3/4 court. And it's not off the glass. It's not bouncing around. It was straight cash. Straight cash. All net. And then you have the viral moment of him staring, not at Kevin Harlan, even though Kevin Harlan went crazy on the broadcast, who's also a solid dude. Worked with him a few times. Very solid dude. But Jamal Murray, eyeing up Reggie Miller. Eyeing up Reggie Miller. Let's go ahead and get the angle that went crazy online. You get the close-up view, the handheld camera view, and you have Jamal Murray heaving it, just heaving it. And he's watching it. And he knows it looks good. And then it cashes on net, gives you the flex, and then he's looking right at your man's Reggie. Looking right at your man's Reggie. Nothing you can do about that. Absolutely nothing you can do about that. And, you know, this series is going to get a little testy. Ant-Man has some words for Jamal Murray as the game was wrapping up. You know, the series is up. It's tied up at 2 now. Ant-Man and I'm sure the rest of them thought the series was over. All they had to do was turn on the 4-letter network, go on social media, listen to some podcasts, and everyone and their mama was saying, yeah, this series is a wrap. The Timberwolves, they're younger, they're fresher. Ant-Man's unstoppable. Gobert, Cat's looking like Cat from a few years ago. Like, everyone was just riding the hype train because they won the first 2 games. And, you know, the great thing about Ant-Man is that he don't duck no smoke. They asked him about it in the post game. Yo, you and Murray seemed to exchange words at the end of the game. What was it about? And Ant-Man, true to his word, not ducking anything.
Anthony, did you have any words with Jamal or any of the Nuggets at the end of the game there? Looked like you might have been saying
I just
something.
told his ass,
I just told his ass. Again, you have to love the transparency. He is so authentically him. He is talking like a dude straight off the block with it, and I love that shit.
Words with Jamal or any of the Nuggets at the end of the game there? Looked like you might have been saying
I just
something.
told his ass, that's what we love that. Keep talking that. That's what we like. Well, I love it, you know, so.
That's important there. You see how he switched up.
That's what we like. Well, I
That's what we like.
love it, you know, so.
Well, I love it. So, again, with Ant-Man, you don't have to read too much between the lines when it comes to him. Like, clearly some dudes on that squad don't like the back and forth. So, and he's kind of letting that slip out. But again, he's with the shits.
That's what we love that. Keep talking that. That's what we like. Well, I love it, you know, so. You know, he ain't say nothing back, but I'm pretty sure he heard me. They heard me. Yeah, we live for that.
So this here is by far the most exciting series. There's some other series that have moments. Like, obviously, Knicks tape, I'll get there. But, like, this series here is the one for me. This, to me, is the series. When you're talking about excitement, high level of play, adjustments to the adjustments, like the ebbs and flows of it. You know, what potentially could be on the line in terms of not having a repeat champion if the Timberwolves pull this off. And, you know, if the Nuggets can get by this, does this mean a cakewalk in the next round when you're looking at Dallas or OKC? Like, it's a lot here in this series, and you're seeing just the evolution of what Ant-Man can be. And you have to ask yourself, what if he just had a little bit of help? A little bit of help. Karl Anthony Towns, again, I'll go to his shot chart real quick. When you look at his shot chart for this game 4, it was really nasty early on, man. Like, it was really nasty. Let's go to Karl Anthony Towns. Overall, you see the shot chart here. It's a lot of red X's. A lot of those were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those misses were at the rim, like underneath the dotted circle. So real close to the basket, he bricked all those shots. He only made 3 shots in the paint the entire game. 3 shots in the paint the entire game. So 3 of 10 from underneath the dotted circle. And then he does his normal thing with the midi and then the threes. He only hit 1 3. Like, again, first quarter, the bulk of his misses, all of his misses, but he took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shots. They were all under 10 feet. And he bricked all of them. And then he had to do a 3 because, of course, he did. Second quarter, he was very inactive, only took 3 shots. Again, he missed a bunny by the bucket. He hit a baseline shot, and then he hit him, and then he bricked another midi. So, like, again, you're talking about Karl Anthony Towns, who's supposed to be, I think, offensively, and you've heard this, I'm sure, but offensively the most skilled player on this team. He might not be offensively the best player on this team, but he might be the most skilled player offensively on this team. And you have a guy that's just not out here doing his job. Because, again, these are big swing games. They go up 3-1. Now you can start to have those conversations of, oh, it's over for the Nuggets. Like, then you could talk that talk. Because we know how rare it is for a team to come back from 3-1. But to jump out the window after a team is down 2-0 and say it's a wrap, that's just hyperbole. That's just clickbait shit. But Karl Anthony Towns, if you want to be remembered as one of those, which he keeps saying he does, he's got to do better than that, especially when you get at the crib. No home team has won a game in this series. That's a unique thing that's going on here. But again, I want to lead with that because that to me is the most exciting series. Let's get to the action from last night. We have the Thunder even up the series with the Mavericks at 2. The Mavericks trick off this game at the free throw line. That will be the prevailing storyline when you turn on and, try to consume your stuff from everywhere on the internet. Everyone will be talking about the free throw disparity and just the lack of making free throws, as OKC was out here 23 of 24 from the free throw line, and your Dallas Mavericks were out here 12 of 23. And they only lost by 4. They only lost by 4. 23 of 24 versus 12 of 23, you lose by 4. And there's going to have to be something being said about Luka. How long are we going to let this Slovenian hardened thing just keep existing? 18, 12, and 10. 2 of 9 from 3. He also bricked a free throw late when they were trying to scheme up a way to try to keep it close. He bricked some free throws late. Kai Irving, he had a great game 3, saved them in the fourth quarter. I think he had, 15? 15 in the fourth quarter and game 3. But last night, I don't know if he was, I saw him just not be proactive and not be aggressive. He was allowing the rim run. Again, we talk about teams allowing certain things to happen. In this series, you have the OKC Thunder daring PJ Washington to beat them. They're also allowing the rim run, which is your your Daniel Giffords and your Derek Lively's, to get off. So 17 points from their bigs, the majority of those on rim run dunks between Gafford and Lively, right? But then the issue is that you had PJ Washington, who in game 3, as I played with Shea earlier, you know what I'm saying? Shea out here taking L's to PJ Washington. PJ Washington.
PJ Washington. PJ Washington. PJ Washington.
I mean, that's how you sound when you're losing to a guy like that. But the fact of the matter is, that was the game plan. The OKC game plan, we dare you, PJ Washington, to beat you. And he didn't beat you last night, but he played well again. So remember we were talking about Josh Hart in against the Sixers, and the Sixers and Nick Nurse kept daring Josh Hart to beat them, and ultimately he did. You're looking at the same type of thing where you're daring PJ Washington. We just talked about Aaron Gordon. They're daring him to be the guy. We don't want the stars to go crazy. We want you to go crazy. Well, shit, damn near 21 and 12 for PJ Washington. But the more impactful piece for me, the reason why I'm a little concerned if I'm Dallas and I'm Jay Kidd, you can't have PJ Washington taking 19, 20 shots and Kai Irving's only getting 10, 11 shots. I know you can say, look, PJ, we trust you. We believe you. Take the shot. But I also want Kai Irving to go do what Kai Irving does best. And you can't ask Kyrie Irving to be that impactful guy on just 11 shots. And you see the 9 assists here. Don't let those assists fool you. A lot of those, the OKC wanted him to drop the ball off. A lot of those were on rim runs. Okay? So that's kind of like, yeah, I'd rather Kyrie get 14 assists if that only means he's only going to take 10 shots. Because where Kyrie's most dangerous at? Is he more dangerous as a shooter? Or is he more dangerous as a facilitator? We all know that answer because he's not really a facilitator. He's not really a point guard. He goes into this whole thing that I've been, arguing with people for years now of combo guard, hybrid guard versus a true point guard. He's in that combo guard. He's in that shooting guard in the point guard's body type deal. But when you look at it, 9 dimes, or would you, okay, so I'll put it to you like this, right? And y'all can hit me up. Would you rather have Kyrie Irving put up 20 shots, 25 shots, or have him go out there and give you 12 to 15 assists? What do you think is going to help your team win? What's more likely to help Kyrie Irving be impactful for your team winning a game? Him taking 25 shots or him giving you 15 assists? I know what my answer is. So anyway, PJ Washington is out here taking 19 shots. Kyrie Irving only gets 11, and Luka Doncic gets 20. So again, you're talking about PJ Washington is getting the same volume as Luka and double damn near than Kyrie. That's a recipe for disaster, and that's the reason why they only had 96 points, because the offense was constipated. The offense was slow, it was stagnant, it was erratic. They never looked like they were in rhythm. Even when they went on little mini runs, it just didn't look cohesive. So the Mavericks will have to make an adjustment if they're going to keep daring PJ Washington to beat you. What's the adjustment to that if you're Jay Kidd? Can you scheme a way to where, all right, they're going to leave him open? That means they're going to double Kyrie on the ball, right? Or off ball. Cool. Then Luka should cook, right? But if Luka's 6 of 20, then what's the reaction to that? And again, we didn't even get to the 7 turnovers. Everyone's going to love to talk about the 18 and 12 and 10 and all that stuff, but they're going to forget about the 7 turnovers. And if you watch the game, it's an old story here, but the lack of care on defense, it becomes that much more magnified this time of the year because it's the playoffs and we have time to psychoanalyze every single game and every quarter, every possession. But his lack of caring on defense, look at this. He's 18, 12 and 10, 41, just say 42 minutes. He was only a +1 on the floor. That shit matters, man. Only a +1 on the floor. Make it make sense. There's a lack of caring. And let's go to his series stats. And can he stop complaining after? But again, he's Slovenian and Harden, so I can't kill him for being who he's trying to be. He is who I've always said he was. He was trying to be Slovenian Harden. I literally have been saying that for years, and every year he keeps proving me right. Luka is only giving you 22 in this series. He's shooting 39% from the floor, 31% from 3. That's surprising. And you're looking at Kyrie. Kyrie's only giving you 15 and 8 dimes. So they're really daring PJ Washington to beat them. That's the adjustment. How can you scheme up? How many shots does Kyrie have? Kyrie, wow, look at this field goal attempts. Luka has taken the most shots. No shock there. And this is through 4 games. So 77 shots in 4 games. We could do the math. That's about 20 shots a game. PJ Washington has 67 shots in this series compared to only 50 for Kyrie. That's not the shot chart you want if you're Jay Kidd. That can't be a successful formula. Looking at this shot chart, it's almost a miracle it's 2-2. If you told me PJ Washington was going to be taking the second most shots in this series even at 2, I'm like, is Kyrie hurt? Because why is PJ Washington taking so many shots? Well, they're daring him to. Right, but just because they're daring you to doesn't mean you should take them every time. But salute to PJ. He's giving you 22 and 8, 22 and 9. But I'd rather have that flip to Kyrie. I need Kyrie taking 67 shots. Like, Kyrie should not be almost 30 shots less in this series through 4 games than Luka Doncic. It just can't be that. So, Jay Kidd, scheme up something. Scheme up something. Because that's not going to change. If you're OKC, you want that to keep happening. And if you're OKC, Lou Dort, we got to give that man his props. The fact that he can shoot threes, he's made the most threes in this series because they're daring him to shoot, right? That's the adjustment. They're daring Lou Dort to beat them. And Lou Dort's not going to beat you with a 30-piece, but he's going to beat you with them corner threes. He's getting this PJ Tucker on. You know, for a while there, it looked like he was going to be a guy that could be trending towards PJ Tucker, Tony Allenville, right? But he's improved his game. He's improved the 3, especially from the corner. You know, even though it's just the shortest distance, 3-pointer, was it 22-something feet, and the others like 24, 25, 26 feet. But it doesn't matter. Lou Dort is out here banging the easiest 3 you can make, but he's making them bitches. So, yeah, I got to give him his props. And, again, we talk about Big 4. Look at the shot disparity. SGA, 93 shots through 4 games. 90, almost 100 shots. We could do that math. That's about 25 a game. We just talked about Luka getting 20 a game. SGA ain't playing that shit. I'm getting my 25. And he's giving you 32 with 10 and 7 dimes, okay? And then you have just a bunch of dudes just in that 60 below range, 60s, 40s, 20s. I would love for Chet to get a little bit more shots. Chet Hive loading always on this side. But it's going to be the SGA show. Someone at some point, whether it's this year, next year, or if they're lucky enough the year after that, if they can keep most of these guys together, SGA needs a competent number two. Like a legit number two, not a guy that can score just like him in the same type of way. Like, don't do it like how Dallas has. Dallas has two dudes that are both ball dominant, right? And you see the thing, it's very difficult to play off Luka. It's very difficult to be able to beat Kyrie Irving and get the shot volume that you require when Luka's out here making sure he's going to get his 20 plus every night. And that's shots. Like, we've seen him struggle with Kyrie Irving. We've seen him struggle with Jalen Brunson. We've seen him struggle with the Latvian world star, Kristaps Porzingis. At one point, do we say it's Luka? And it's not all these guys that have been failed number two. Jalen Brunson goes to New York and he cooks, right? Now, he was cooking in Dallas. People seem to forget that. And I have a video coming, the trash narrative about that. That Jalen Brunson was cooking when he was with the Mavericks. It was just every time that Luka was off the floor. Make of that what you will. There were times when Kristaps Porzingis was cooking with the Dallas Mavericks. It just so happens Luka will be off the floor. Make of that what you will. I will say this. I have seen Kyrie Irving cook while Luka's been on the floor. But you see how special of a talent you have to be able to cook when you're sharing the floor and sharing the rock, or not so much, with Luka? Don't do it like Dallas. Okay, see, go get someone that's a wing or a hybrid big that can play off SGA. Getting two guys in the backcourt, like the whole backcourt thing. The reason why the Warriors thing worked is because Clay doesn't need the ball. He could give you 60 on 11 dribbles. But when you have two guys that have high usage rates in Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, that's a hard ask. When you have two guys with high usage rates, like a Luka Doncic and a Jalen Brunson, that's a hard ask. Now, the Porzingis thing could have worked, but Luka's so ball dominant, his bigs by default always have to be rim runners. And Porzingis is so much more than that. Luka didn't know how to get that involved. But the bench guys found a way. Somehow, some way, whenever Luka would be out, hurt, or whatever, Porzingis would cook. And the Mavericks would win games. But anyway. So that was the late game last night. The Thunder tie up the series at 2. If you want to slide over to Boston real quick, I won't spend too much time on this because the Cavaliers are much like the Knicks. They're getting beat up and they're missing guys and pivotal guys. The Celtics take care of business 109-102. They take a 3-1 series lead. They're in position to close out the Cavs. And because Spider Mitchell missed the game last night, I mean, what more can you expect? Cass LeVert tried his best. Darius Garland had a good game. But yeah, there's not much they can do without Spider. Spider, Evan Mobley, Strus even was okay. Like they tried their most valiant. They almost stole one. They were almost able to steal one without Spider and even this thing up at 2. Then you go back to Boston with Spider refreshed, assuming, and then you might be in the position to even steal another one in Boston like they did in game 2. But nope. Tatum and Brown, too much. Tatum, he is an enigma. 2 of 8 from 3. Him complaining, as much as he wants us to think he's on that Kobe wave, I've never believed it. I don't care how much cosplay Kobe you do. You ain't Kobe, bruh. You ain't Kobe. It's almost like we need to get the habitual nut hitter to do that drop on Tatum. Like, you ain't Kobe. You ain't Kobe. But he's going to keep shooting like he's Kobe. 11 to 25. Jaylen Brown, 9 to 15. He has been going left. It's hard for him to finish left, but he has been going left, so I'll give him that. But Derek White, again, we talk about the big 4, right? Who's going to be the big 4? With no Porzingis, you don't really have a big 4. It's back down to a big 3. But Drew Holiday steps up 16-7 with a couple of dimes. He's played better on the road in this series than he's played at the crib. We'll see if that continues in game 5. But I think no matter what, and Porzingis was at shoot around the other day. So I don't know if they'll play him or risk him playing in this series because it looked like they're about to get them up out of here, save him for the Eastern Conference Finals. But Boston with Porzingis, that's going to be a tough out. It's going to be a tough out for the Knicks or Indiana, whoever comes out of that, and it'll be a tough out for whoever comes out the West. It's going to be very difficult to beat the Boston Celtics if they're healthy with the Latvian world star 4 out of 7 times. It's going to be really, really tough. But the Knicks. The Knicks were down by 43 at one point in game 4 against the Pacers. And the Pacers even things up. Again, another series where after the first 2 games, much like the Denver-Minnesota series, everyone was saying it was over. There was a lot of people in group chats that I'm in that after the Knicks went up 2-0, it's a wrap. We going to Indy and wrapping it up, or we're going to get them done in 5, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, now they're coming back to the Mecca 2 up. And the bodies are hitting the floor. The bodies are hitting the floor. No OG Anunoby. No Mitch Rob. The bodies keep dropping for the Knicks. They had to dust off Jericho Sims the other night. They had to dust off Jericho Sims. Shake Milton, welcome to the 2024 NBA playoffs. I mean, Daquan Jeffries, welcome to the 2024 NBA playoffs. And this is the gift and the curse of your man's the meniscus tearing taskmaster, Tom Thibodeau. This is just what you're going to get. The Bulls went through this. The Timberwolves, to a lesser extent. This is what he does. Y'all think I'm like trying to make fun. Like, this is a legitimate thing. Like, he will break your players' bodies down. He will break their cartilage. He will shred their tendons. This is what he does. Ligaments don't last. We need to do a you know how when NFL players die, everyone says you need to test their brain for CTE. When Taj Gibson dies, we need to do a full body MRI scan of how he's been able to last so long, coming back for more and more Tom Thibodeau treatment. I need to know what his skeleton, what his bones are made of. Is it that Wolverine shit? Is Taj Gibson on that Wolverine that he's able to keep coming back and playing and lasting for Tom Thibodeau, the meniscus tearing taskmaster? I need to know. But if we're talking about the Knicks, right? Jalen Brunson. Like, game 4 is an admiration, right? The Pacers were coming out here hitting bombs away. Obi Toppin is out here bombing threes from all over the place. Like, it was an admiration to the highest degree. Neesmith has been a factor defensively. Nembhard has been a factor defensively. Like, they're being physical with Jalen Brunson. But T.J. McConnell. Is this going to be Jalen Brunson's J.J. Barea? Is Jalen Brunson, T.J. McConnell, going to end up being our LeBron J.J. Barea? Are you going to tell me the Knicks, as a 2 seed, are potentially going to go home, are potentially going to go to Galveston? Because T.J. McConnell not only is out point guarding your best player, but he's being just as physical and he's playing better under control than your best player. And Jalen Brunson, we'll give him all the platitudes in the world. We'll give him all the props in the world for what he has done. He is on a cheap contract. He's on that Pat Mahomes type contract where he has outperformed it off rip. But he's getting, in pivotal clutch moments, at least the last 2 games, he's been outplayed by T.J. McConnell. And you can make a case if Rick Carlisle leaves in T.J. McConnell late in both of those games at the Mecca, it's possible that the Pacers could be no worse than 3-1 right now because of T.J. McConnell. You telling me Knicks tape, which is bringing all the former Knicks back, which is having this restoring of the Mecca, and Knicks fans are elated, and Knicks fans are putting Jeremy Lin jerseys on Wilt Chamberlain statues in Philly, and then they're going to be undone by TJ McConnell? Oh, let it happen. You know, I've been laying low, but let TJ McConnell be the figure. It's a two-pronged attack for me, right? First, Tyrese Halliburton, who the Knicks should have drafted, and I actually implored the Knicks to do it. I dared them to do it because it would have showed me, oh, maybe this Knicks regime is different. Everyone keeps telling me, hey, Sam, the Knicks front office is different now, man. It's different people in there. It's real basketball people in there. Then why didn't you draft Tyrese Halliburton? If it's a new regime, if it's a new front office, if they now have basketball people in the front office. So you're going to lose to the team of that has the dude that you should have drafted. And you're going to lose to the team that has the point guard who is out point guarding your point guard, who you just gave 100 M's to that everyone's going gaga for because it's a cheap deal now. Let it happen, basketball gods. You've been so good to me over these years, especially with the point fraud. Basketball gods, I ask of you, give me this one thing. The point guard, or the point fraud couldn't even make it to the playoffs. Couldn't even make out the play-in. He wasn't even worth taking the church episode. Basketball gods, I am asking of you, let Knicks tape fall to a team that has the point guard they should have drafted and a journeyman point guard that's locking up their all-world, coulda, shoulda, woulda been MVP candidate. Please let that happen, basketball gods. Oh, that would be so glorious. Let's check this series stats real quick. I don't want to keep y'all too much longer, but let's check the series stats on this real quick because I think the defensive rating is something I'm curious about. So, Knicks tape, defensive rating. Jalen Brunson has a 114 offensive rating. He has a 126 defensive rating. Meniscus tearing taskmaster, Tom Thibodeau. Dante DiVincenzo, 122 offensive rating, 127 defensive rating. Meniscus tearing taskmaster, Tom Thibodeau. And the apple of New York's eye right now, Josh Hart, 110 offensive rating, 120 defensive rating. It's just, you can't make this shit up. The person with the lowest defensive rating on this team is my guy, Mamadou Dikite. Is that even how you say it? I don't even know how to say man's name. I know the Mamadi, but I don't know how to spell that last name. But of anyone that's played more than 10 minutes, it's actually Jericho Sims. Jericho Sims. Hoya Saxa, right? Wasn't he Georgetown? Where'd he go to college? Oh, Texas. Oh, okay. They went to. Wasn't there a Sims that went to Georgetown that was a big man? Anyway. So, yeah, I think ultimately you're looking at this Pacer thing. The Pacers are doing this as a team thing. Tyrese Halliburton, there's been a lot of debate of whether Tyrese Halliburton is a true number one. And y'all know how much I love Tyrese Halliburton. Pascal Siakam has been spotty at times. He's another guy that's in that tough shot maker club along with Jamal Murray. I think Jamal Murray is a better tough shot maker. Halliburton's also in that conversation, but Miles Turner, to me, is a difference. With no Mitch Rob and with Hartenstein, I think, coming back down to earth now that he doesn't have to deal with a one-legged Joel Embiid, I think Miles Turner has to exploit that matchup every single night. That's the advantage. The Knicks have a glaring hole at the 5 position. That's the spot where if I'm, the Pacers and I'm Rick Carlisle, I can save my series if I just keep daring the Knicks to go out here with Jericho Sims and Isaiah Hartenstein. Precious Achiuwa, it's all food to me. It's all food if I'm Miles Turner. And Miles Turner's a free agent. He's trying to get a bag. You want to earn that bag? Go out here and over the last however many games, whether it's 2 or 3, go out there and bully ball whoever the Knicks put in front of you. Hartenstein, Achiuwa, Jericho Sims, Josh Hart on the switch. No matter who it is, it's time to bully ball. I know that's not your game per se. You like to be a stretch five. You like to think you got a little Brooke Lopez in you. That's cool and all. But they are hurting at that position. Miles Turner needs to exploit Knicks tape there. It remains to see if he can even get that off. But to me, that's what I'm doing. Because that's how you win this series. Halliburton can't be stopped. If TJ McConnell's going to keep playing like this, where, you know, he's giving you 12 and 7 from TJ McConnell, and Halliburton's giving you 24 and 7, and Siakam's giving you 18, Obi Toppin's a guy, like, look, y'all know how I want this to go. Whatever way it happens, I just need the Knicks to lose 2 out of 3. I just need the Knicks to lose 2 more games. The Knicks lose 2 more games. Oh my God, I may bring back the burial. I may bring back the burial or take them to church. One of those. The Knicks are getting. If they lose this series, if they lose to Boston, it takes the sting out of it because no one expects them to beat Boston, right? I think even most Knicks fans would be satisfied with getting to the conference finals and losing to Boston. But they think they should beat the Pacers, and that's the difference. That's why I need basketball guys. I need the loss to happen now. I need them to lose this series here because it's funnier that way. It's funnier if the Knicks lose to the team that their fans think they can beat. And I don't want to hear shit about, oh, we're so injured. Y'all don't care about Julius. Y'all haven't even, now I'm hearing talk about Julius. And while we're missing Julius, y'all haven't mentioned that man's name in months. Y'all haven't mentioned that man's name in weeks and months. Y'all didn't give a fuck about missing Julius when you was putting that Jeremy Lin jersey on Wilt statue. Y'all didn't give a damn about Julius then. I don't want to hear about Julius now. Don't bring up Julius. Y'all know what y'all are. Y'all are a fool's gold 2 seed, just like the last time. Actually, I think the team that was the mellow 2 seed team is better than this team. But, you know, that's another debate for another day. It's another debate for another day. Let me see. Is there anything else I want to touch on with NBA real quick? I'll just go quick here. Talk about Bronny real quick. So Bronny's been listed at 6'4". They got the draft combine and all that stuff. So Bronny has been listed as 6'4" everywhere he's gone, from high school to college, AAU, all of that shit. He gets measured at the combine. He's 6'1". Who gonna do it? Who gonna do it? At 6'1", who gonna do it? Now he has a 6'7" wingspan. So 6'1" with a 6'7" wingspan. Okay. You can see defensive guy, like that's definitely not a star. Like let's be clear. 6'1", when everyone's saying it's 6'4", 6'7" wingspan kind of brings you back in the mix. Long arms, play the defensive lanes. Like I could see you being like a defensive guard. I could see you maybe being a Alvarado. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a Nemhard from the Pacers here, like Neesmith. Like I think that there's some guys you could be in this league, but star, he ain't gonna be no star, bro. But if you're the Lake Show, the Lakers have their pick, and obviously they want LeBron back. If you are the Lake Show, do you do it with your, what they have, the 17th pick? Let's see, draft order. We're gonna come back to the screen. Yeah, let's come back to the screen. Or did the Pels say that they're gonna take the pick? Let's see, pound with the screen. Did the Pels say they're going to take the pick? I'm not sure. Pels have a lot of picks. And the problem is you have a lot of picks in the draft where no one likes the draft picks coming out. There's been some crazy takes. Your man's Bill Simmons. He's out here saying he's talked to people in the league and they feel like having the number 1 pick in this year's draft is the equivalent of like getting a Lou Dort. I refuse to believe that. I absolutely refuse to believe that. Salute to Lou Dort, but like there's no way you could tell me that the number 1 pick in this year's draft or having the number 1 pick in this year's draft is the equivalent of like drafting a Lou Dort. Like, stop. I don't want to hear that. But If the Lakers, I got to look this up, see if they actually keep that pick or if the Pels have decided to take that pick. But look, Anthony Davis is not a 5. Do you do that and try to take a big here? Or do you try to, again, acquiesce Bron and take Bronny there at 17? Again, he's 6'1". He's been said to be 6'4". He's really 6'1". But he's got a 6'7" wingspan. What do you do with that? Let's see, big board. Let's see where they have Bronny, if they have Bronny at all. Bronny James is not under point guard. Is he under shooting guard? They don't even have him as a prospect on this mock draft. That's kind of wild. Freshman. Reed Shepherd's been flashing a lot. I got to see. But I know one thing. Somebody is sleeping on your man, Zach Edey. Zach Edey, to me, is a guy that has the Brook Lopez old man game now. And that's what the league is right now. So if I'm sitting in that teens, I'm taking Zach Edey. People have been telling me Zach Edey's a second-round pick, bottom of the first-round pick. So even here, they got him bottom of the first round to the Celtics. If I'm any of these teams, if I'm the Bulls at 11, Vucevic ain't going to be there forever, bro. Like, I think Zach Edey is the best of what you could get at that spot if you're outside the top 10. I'm not saying Zach Edey should be a top 10 pick. But I think if you're the Bulls at 11, that's where I start looking. They're going to take another point guard here, Collier from USC. I wouldn't do that. I like Collier, but I'm not doing that. If Kobe White's supposed to be who y'all keep telling me he is, why are you taking another point guard? But anyway, we have enough time to get into that. But I'm just telling you, Bronny has been listed everywhere at 6'4". Turns out, only 6'1". You know what it is. Appreciate y'all for tapping in and listening and watching if you're doing this on YouTube. We'll be giving y'all more content, man. That's the plan here. Trying to stick to that. Last week I had to make a road trip, so I was not able to provide y'all with any pod last week, but I don't see that happening for a little bit here, so I should be consistent, and I might start bringing my equipment on the road when I do travel. So this is my time of the year when it comes to playoffs, NBA. Like, this is when I tap in. Y'all know when I do NBA Finals, I do pods after every game. So y'all know this is my time to shine. This is where I go crazy when it comes to churning and putting content out. So tap in, lock in for the Sam D. For the Sam D podcast. I'm Sam D. Smith Jr. I'm out.